Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Oh, you are in for an absolute treat today. Now I know what you're thinking. What have you got for us this time? Well, hold on to your hats or your clogs as we are about to embark on an extraordinary journey through the Netherlands. It's a country that, let's be honest, punches well above its weight. It's not just about windmills and tulips, though we'll get to those. Oh yes, we're talking about a place of breathtaking landscapes, mind-boggling innovation, a history richer than a double chocolate gâteau, and a culture that's as vibrant and colourful as a field of those very tulips. It's a place of delightful contradictions and brilliant surprises, a tiny nation that has had a massive, and I mean massive, impact on the world. From the ingenious way they've battled the sea and won, to their towering population, and I mean that literally. This country is a treasure trove of fascinating stories. We'll explore how a nation, a significant chunk of which is technically underwater, became a global powerhouse in everything from finance to art. We'll delve into their famously liberal attitudes, their love affair with the humble bicycle, and a national celebration that turns the entire country a fabulous shade of orange. It's a story of resilience, creativity, and a certain directness that is, frankly, rather refreshing. You'll see a side of the Netherlands you never knew existed, and I promise you, it's more compelling than you could ever imagine. Over the next little while, I'll be sharing with you 20 mind-blowing facts about this remarkable nation. Facts that will surprise, amaze, and perhaps even inspire you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating world of the Netherlands. We've got so much to get through, it's going to be fabulous. Honestly, by the end of this, you'll be booking your flights, I guarantee it. Let's get started, shall we? Right, let's get our feet wet, shall we? Or perhaps we should be careful because our first fact is an absolute whopper. A staggering 27% of the Netherlands is actually below sea level. Yes, you heard that right. While other countries are building skyscrapers, the Dutch have been busy making sure their country doesn't, disappear into the North Sea. It's like living in a giant, very picturesque bathtub. This constant battle with the water has made them the undisputed world champions of water management. They're not just building dikes and dams, they're creating entire landscapes from scratch. These reclaimed lands are called polders, and they are a testament to centuries of Dutch grit and genius. It's this incredible engineering that has given us those iconic landscapes we all know and love. Imagine it, endless flat fields crisscrossed by canals glistening in the sun, with historic windmills standing guard, their sails turning gently in the breeze. And then, of course, the tulips. Carpets of vibrant red, yellow, and purple stretching as far as the eye can see. It's a landscape born from necessity, but perfected into art. Truly only the Dutch could look at a flood risk and turn it into a postcard. Now from wrestling with water to wrestling with wallets. Fact number 2 is for all you high flyers and moneymakers out there. Did you know that the very first stock exchange in the world was Dutch? Oh yes, forget Wall Street, forget the City of London. The whole shebang started in a rather grand building in Amsterdam back in 1602. It was founded by the Dutch East India Company, or the VOC, which was an absolute behemoth of its time, the world's first multinational corporation. They needed a way to fund their rather ambitious, and let's be honest, globe-spanning shopping trips. So they came up with this brilliant, or perhaps slightly bonkers idea of selling shares in the company to the public. People could buy a little piece of the action, and suddenly you had the birth of modern capitalism right there on the Amsterdam canals. It was revolutionary. This wasn't just about trading goods anymore. It was about trading in the future, in ideas, in risk. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange set the blueprint for every single financial market that followed. So next time you see the stock market report on the news, you can give a little nod to the Dutch. They started it all. Let's move on to something you literally can't overlook. The Dutch are tall, and I don't mean a bit on the lanky side tall. I mean statistically the tallest people on the planet. The average Dutch man stands at a mighty 183 centimeters. That's just over 6 feet tall. And the women aren't far behind at around 170 centimeters, or 5'7". You walk through Amsterdam, and you feel like you've wandered into a convention for basketball players. It's quite something. You have to wonder, what are they putting in the water? Or rather, the cheese? Well, scientists reckon it's a combination of things. Excellent healthcare, a diet rich in dairy, all that lovely cheese and milk, and get this, natural selection. Apparently, tall men in the Netherlands have more children than shorter men, and their children are more likely to survive. So, over generations, they've just kept getting taller. It's become a real point of national pride. They've had to redesign everything from door frames to office desks to accommodate their towering frames. So if you ever visit, maybe pack some platforms, or just be prepared to feel a little bit vertically challenged. Now, for a country that's so famous for its history, the Netherlands is incredibly forward-thinking. Fact number 4, they are absolute world leaders in sustainable innovation. It's as if they've taken that centuries-old ingenuity they used to fight the sea and are now using it to fight climate change. And darling, they are winning. You see it everywhere. The country is bristling with wind turbines, both on land and out at sea, harnessing that famous Dutch wind to power their homes and industries. They're not just dabbling, they're all in. Their cities are becoming living laboratories for green solutions. They've got entire neighborhoods powered by renewable energy, buildings with green roofs that help with insulation and biodiversity, and some of the most ambitious recycling programs you've ever seen. Rotterdam, for example, is pioneering floating farms to produce food locally and sustainably. It's this pragmatic can-do attitude. They see a problem like rising sea levels or carbon emissions, and they don't just talk about it, they innovate their way out of it. It's inspiring, really. They're building the future, one windmill and one smart city at a time. Tulips. You can't talk about the Netherlands without talking about tulips, can you? But these aren't just pretty flowers for your garden. Oh no. Fact number 5 reveals a story of obsession, ruin, and spectacular beauty. Back in the 17th century, during the Dutch Golden Age, the country went completely mad for tulips. This period, known as Tulip Mania, saw the price of a single rare bulb skyrocket to more than the cost of a house in Amsterdam. People were trading their life savings, their homes, their businesses, all for a flower. It was the world's first ever speculative bubble. And when it burst, it was spectacular. Fortunes were lost overnight. It's a crazy, cautionary tale. But the Dutch love affair with the tulip endured. Today, the Netherlands is the world's largest producer of commercial tulip bulbs, exporting billions every year. And if you want to see them in all their glory, you simply must visit the Keukenhof Gardens. It's known as the Garden of Europe. And for a few weeks each spring, over 7 million bulbs burst into a breathtaking kaleidoscope of color. It is, without a doubt, one of the most beautiful sights on Earth. Right, let's talk about getting around. In most countries, the car is king, but in the Netherlands, not a chance. Fact number 6, there are more bicycles in the Netherlands than there are people. Think about that. Over 23 million bikes for a population of 17 million. It's absolutely extraordinary. Cycling isn't a hobby here, it's a fundamental part of the national identity. From toddlers in cargo bikes, to grannies doing their shopping, to businessmen in suits cycling to a meeting, everyone is on a bike. And it's all made possible by an infrastructure that would make other countries weep with envy. We're talking about over 35,000 kilometers of dedicated, pristine cycle paths, completely separate from car traffic. They even have traffic lights, roundabouts, and underground parking garages just for bikes. The benefits are enormous. Less pollution, less traffic congestion, and a population that is famously fit and healthy. It's a simple, elegant, and profoundly sensible way of life. It makes you wonder why the rest of the world hasn't caught on, doesn't it? Now, from the practical to the sublime, the Netherlands may be a small country, but its contribution to the world of art is, honestly, immeasurable. Fact number 7, the Dutch have a ridiculously rich artistic heritage. We're talking about the home of some of the greatest painters who ever lived. During the 17th century Golden Age, while they were busy building a global empire, they were also having, like, this artistic explosion. Artists like Rembrandt van Rijn, with his dramatic use of light and shadow, captured the soul of his subjects like no one else. Then you have Johannes Vermeer, whose intimate, light-filled domestic scenes like The Girl with a Pearl Earring are just mesmerizing. And let's not forget the tortured genius of Vincent van Gogh in the 19th century, whose bold colors and emotional honesty changed the course of modern art forever. And it doesn't stop there. from the geometric purity of Piet Mondrian to the mind-bending illusions of MC Escher. The Dutch have consistently produced artists who didn't just follow the rules, they rewrote them. A trip to the Rijksmuseum or the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam is like a pilgrimage for any art lover. The Dutch are known for being open-minded, but this next fact really, I think, cements their reputation as social pioneers. Fact number 8. On April 1st, 2001, the Netherlands became the very first country in the entire world to legalize same-sex marriage. It wasn't just a small legal change, it was a monumental statement to the world about love, equality, and human rights. At the stroke of midnight, the mayor of Amsterdam married 4 same-sex couples in the city hall, and history was made. This wasn't a decision that came out of nowhere. It was the culmination of decades of activism and a deeply ingrained cultural belief in personal freedom and tolerance. The Dutch have a word for it, gedegen, which roughly translates to a pragmatic policy of tolerance. They believe that people should be free to live their lives as they see fit, as long as they don't harm others. This landmark decision sent ripples across the globe, inspiring countless other countries to follow suit. It's a powerful reminder that this small nation has a huge voice when it comes to social justice. Alright, let's talk about something truly delicious. You can't go to the Netherlands and not talk about cheese. It would be a crime. Fact number 9, the Dutch are absolute masters of cheese. They've been making it for centuries, and my goodness, they are good at it. We're not just talking about that generic Edam and red wax you see in supermarkets. We're talking about a whole universe of cheese. There's nutty aged Gouda, creamy Maasdam with its big holes and pungent laden spice with cumin. Cheese is deeply woven into the fabric of Dutch culture. You can visit traditional cheese markets in towns like Alkmaar or Gouda, where you'll see traders in historic dress slapping giant wheels of cheese together to seal a deal, a tradition that goes back hundreds of years. The Dutch eat cheese for breakfast, lunch, and as a snack, borrelhapjes, with a drink. They love it so much they are one of the world's largest exporters of the stuff. It's more than just food, it's a source of national pride and a delicious, creamy symbol of their heritage. Now let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Or rather, the cannabis plant in the coffee shop. Fact number 10. The Netherlands has a famously unique legal policy on drugs. Now let's be clear, drugs are technically illegal here, just like most places. However, the Dutch government has a policy of gedoogbeleid, there's that word again, pragmatic tolerance, when it comes to soft drugs like cannabis. They make a firm distinction between soft and hard drugs, focusing their resources on tackling the serious stuff. This has led to the world-famous coffee shop system, where licensed establishments can sell small quantities of cannabis for personal use under strict conditions. The idea is to separate the markets, keep users out of the criminal circuit, and focus on health and harm reduction rather than punishment. It's a controversial policy for some, but for the Dutch, it's a pragmatic approach to a complex social issue. It's about regulation and control rather than a futile attempt at prohibition. It's a fascinating example of the Dutch tendency to find their own, very practical solutions to life's problems. You know, it's always a bit embarrassing when you go abroad and can only say hello and thank you in the local language. Well, you won't have that problem in the Netherlands because of fact number 11. The Dutch are incredible linguists. An astonishing 90 to 93% of the Dutch population speaks English, often fluently, and they don't just stop there. Many also speak German, and a good number speak French as well. It's quite common to meet a Dutch person who is trilingual or even quadrilingual. This isn't just a happy accident. It's a product of their education system, which emphasizes languages from an early age and their history as a global trading nation. To do business with the world, you have to be able to speak to the world. It also reflects a fundamental openness to other cultures. They don't dub foreign films or TV shows. They watch them with subtitles, absorbing the language naturally. It makes visiting the country an absolute breeze for tourists, but it's also a testament to their outward-looking, internationally minded culture. They're not just citizens of the Netherlands, they're citizens of the world. We've talked about how the Dutch manage water in the countryside, but their genius extends right into the heart of their cities. Fact number 12 is all about their innovative urban planning. Dutch cities, especially Amsterdam, are famous for their beautiful canal networks. But these canals aren't just for pretty boat tours. They were originally designed in the 17th century as a masterclass in city planning, used for transport, water management, and defense. It's a system that still works brilliantly today. But they haven't stopped innovating. Modern Dutch cities are at the forefront of smart, sustainable urban development. They are designing neighborhoods with incredible public transport, extensive green spaces, and housing that is both beautiful and energy efficient. They're experimenting with floating houses in areas prone to flooding and creating bicycle-first streets where cars are merely guests. It's all about creating livable, human-scale cities that prioritize well-being and sustainability. They prove that you can have dense, vibrant cities that are also green, clean, and wonderful places to live. Every country has its national holiday, but I'm not sure any country does it with quite the same intensity as the Dutch. Fact number 13, the celebration of King's Day, or Koningsdag, is a sight to behold. On April 27th, the entire nation grinds to a halt to celebrate the King's birthday. And when they celebrate, they do it in one color, and one color only orange. It's the color of the Dutch royal family, the House of Orange-Nassau. And on this day, it is everywhere. The country is transformed into one giant open-air party. The streets are flooded with people wearing orange clothes, orange wigs, orange face paint, everything orange. The canals in Amsterdam are so packed with party boats, it looks like you could walk across them. Everywhere there are vrijmarkten, or free markets, where people lay out blankets and sell their second-hand things. It's a day of music, dancing, drinking orange bitter, and a collective, joyous, slightly chaotic national pride. It's an explosion of fun and friendliness, and if you're ever lucky enough to be there for it, you'll never forget the sea of orange. To understand the Netherlands today, you have to understand its past, and that past is intrinsically linked to the sea. Fact number 14. The Netherlands has an incredibly rich and powerful maritime history. During the 17th century, known as the Dutch Golden Age, this tiny nation ruled the waves. Their navy was the most powerful in the world, and their merchant fleet was larger than those of England, France, Spain, and Portugal combined. It's almost unbelievable. The Dutch East India Company, or VOC and West India Company, or WIC, established a vast trading empire that stretched from Asia to the Americas. They sailed to lands previously unknown to Europeans, mapping the world and bringing back spices, silks, and immense wealth. Historic ports like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Hoorn are filled with magnificent canal houses and warehouses built from the profits of this global trade. A visit to the National Maritime Museum in Amsterdam brings this swashbuckling era to life. It's a history with its dark sides, of course, but it's this maritime dominance that laid the foundations for the modern, wealthy, and outward-looking nation we see today. We've touched on this a few times, but it's so central to the Dutch identity, it deserves its own moment. Fact 15. The Dutch are world-renowned for their tolerance and liberal attitudes. This isn't a new trend, it's a philosophy that has deep historical roots. For centuries, the Netherlands has been a haven for those fleeing persecution elsewhere. From Huguenots and Jews to thinkers like Descartes and Spinoza, this created a society where different ideas and beliefs could coexist. This tradition of tolerance continues today. We've already mentioned their pioneering stance on same-sex marriage and their pragmatic drug policy, but it extends to freedom of speech, euthanasia laws, and a general live and let live approach to life. This doesn't mean it's a country without rules or debates, far from it. But there's an underlying principle of respecting individual autonomy and seeking pragmatic solutions over moralistic judgments. It's a complex, ever-evolving part of their national character, and one that has made the Netherlands a beacon for liberal thought around the world. We already know the Dutch have the most bikes, but fact 16 goes a little deeper. It's about how cycling is not just a mode of transport, but is deeply integrated into the very fabric of daily life and even home design. In the Netherlands, you don't just own a bike, your life is structured around it. People think nothing of cycling 10 kilometers to work, to school, or to visit friends. They cycle in the rain, in the snow, carrying groceries, children, and even Christmas trees. This has a fascinating effect on how they live. Many modern apartment buildings are designed with spacious, secure, ground-floor bike storage instead of car parking. Houses often have a bikuken or utility room specifically for storing wet rain gear and muddy boots. The pace of life in many cities feels calmer, more human-paced, because it moves at the speed of a bicycle, not a car. It's a holistic approach, a complete lifestyle. It's about choosing simplicity, efficiency, and health, and designing your world to make that choice the easiest one. Now this is a lovely one. Fact 17 is an observation many visitors make. Dutch women are known for their remarkable beauty and confidence. Now beauty is subjective, of course, but there's a certain look that is often associated with them. It's a natural, healthy, windswept kind of beauty. Thanks to all that cycling and a healthy diet, they often have a strong athletic physique. They tend to favor a more natural look with minimal makeup, exuding an effortless, unfussy style. But it's the confidence that really shines through. Dutch women are often raised to be independent, direct, and self-assured. They are highly educated. In fact, more women than men in the Netherlands attain higher education. They hold prominent positions in business, politics, and the arts. There's a sense of equality and partnership in Dutch society that is palpable. This isn't about objectification. It's an appreciation for a culture that produces strong, intelligent, and confident women who are comfortable in their own skin. It's incredibly refreshing and inspiring. While we often think of the Dutch as blonde and blue-eyed, the reality is far more interesting. Fact 18. The Netherlands, particularly its cities, has a fascinating and vibrant cultural diversity. Amsterdam is one of the most multicultural cities in the world, with residents from over 180 different nationalities. That's actually more than New York. This diversity is a direct result of its history as a global trading hub and its tradition of welcoming immigrants. Walk through a market in Rotterdam or The Hague, and you'll hear a dozen different languages. You can find restaurants serving authentic Surinamese, Indonesian, Turkish, and Moroccan food, all of which have become integral parts of Dutch cuisine. This melting pot hasn't always been without its challenges, of course, but it has undeniably enriched the country, bringing new perspectives, traditions, and energy. It's made Dutch society more dynamic, more colorful, and certainly more delicious. The modern Netherlands is a tapestry woven from threads from all over the world. We've talked about art and finance, but the Dutch contribution to science is just as profound. Fact 19. The Dutch are true pioneers in medicine and science, responsible for discoveries that literally changed how we see the world. In the 17th century, a Dutch draper and amateur scientist named Antony van Leeuwenhoek had a hobby of grinding lenses. He got so good at it that he created a microscope far more powerful than any that existed. With his invention, he became the first human being to see a hidden world of animalcules, what we now know as bacteria and other microorganisms. He was the father of microbiology. At the same time, Christian Huygens was making groundbreaking discoveries in astronomy, identifying Saturn's rings and its moon Titan, and inventing the pendulum clock. This spirit of inquiry and discovery is still alive today, with Dutch universities and research institutions being among the best in the world, particularly in fields like health, water management, and agriculture. They have a knack for looking at the world, whether big or small, and seeing what no one else has seen before. Finally, after all that innovation, art, and history, you need to let off some steam. And the Dutch certainly know how. Fact number 20. The Netherlands has a deep, passionate love for sports and outdoor activities. Of course, we know about cycling, but their sporting prowess goes much further. Football, or soccer, is practically a religion here. The national team, known as Orange, famously turns the country into a sea of orange during major tournaments. And the domestic league is followed with fervent passion. But it's not just football. When the canals and lakes freeze over in a cold winter, the entire nation gets ice fever. Everyone digs out their skates for a bit of ice skating, a tradition that culminates in the legendary Elfstedentocht, a 200-kilometer skating race through 11 Frisian cities. though it rarely gets cold enough for it to happen. Field hockey, volleyball, and swimming are also hugely popular. This love for sport is tied to their love of the outdoors and a general belief in an active, healthy lifestyle. For the Dutch, sport isn't just a game, it's a way of life. And there you have it, 20 mind-blowing facts about the Netherlands. Honestly, what a fabulous little country. From their epic struggle with the sea that shaped their very land to their towering bicycle-riding population, it truly is a place of endless surprises. We've seen how a nation so small could have such a colossal impact on the world, giving us everything from the stock market and modern art to a blueprint for social tolerance and sustainable living. It's a testament to their incredible ingenuity, their pragmatic spirit, and a culture that is as rich and diverse as a field of their famous tulips. This has been more than just a list of facts. It's been a journey into the heart and soul of a nation that constantly punches above its weight. A place that proves that with a bit of creativity, a lot of hard work, and a healthy dose of directness, you can achieve just about anything. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed this little trip through the lowlands as much as I have, and that perhaps, just perhaps, it has inspired you to one day go and see this remarkable country for yourself. To ride the canals, to marvel at the art, and to sample just a little bit of that cheese. Thank you all so much for joining me today, for your time and your wonderful attention. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing these stories with you. Until next time, take care, and as they say in Dutch, Tot Ziens. Goodbye for now. Goodbye for